So when I was in grade school, my mother made me do a drag show. It's true. I'll tell you that story in just a minute. My name is Alan. I'm an actor and a writer living in New York City with my husband and our 18-year-old cat. Now, what's really confusing about this story is just a few months prior to this, I had been chastised by my parents for behaving too flamboyantly in public when we were at a restaurant. I, at the time, had been working in a production of Peter Pan, and I had adult gay men in the cast who were very flamboyant and very funny and got lots of laughs. And I was just mimicking them. It wasn't about anything other than thinking, well, this is funny, so I'm going to just use this. My parents put a stop to that immediately. um, but flash forward about 2 or 3 months, and there's a school talent show, and my mother decided that she had a great idea for an act like Mama Rose and Gypsy, and she was going to push me out on this stage, and I was going to do this thing that she had concocted. And that thing she concocted was putting me in drag as not one but two characters. So the first was Carol Channing from Hello Dolly. Look her up if you don't know who that is. Who was very much a character and talked like this. And was, just over the top and very funny. And one of her signature songs was Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. So I had to learn Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend in Carol Channing's voice. And then she put me in some kind of, I don't know what it was. Some white thing that I wore. And then like a platinum blonde wig, and I had to perform Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. And then it gets worse. I had to duck behind the set for a quick change, at which point I stripped off the white thing I was wearing, under which I was wearing a negligee that belonged to my mother. Oh my God. Is it a wonder that I've made some therapists very wealthy in my time? Underneath the white shift that I was wearing was a negligee. I remember it was hot pink. And then I had to switch wigs. I had like a brown wig on, and I came out doing a character called Geraldine, who was the creation of a black comedian named Flip Wilson. Flip Wilson at the time, this is in the 70s, was a huge star, very popular, very funny, very good. He had his own variety show on TV, and he was, one of those just lightning rod hot entertainment titans. And Geraldine was everywhere. He would appear as her on different talk shows, and it was, his interpretation of this black woman who would flip her hair and be sassy and say these things. And I think her tagline was, "The devil made me do it." And so my mother had coached me on some kind of monologue that Geraldine would have done. And so I had to segue from Carol Channing into Geraldine. And I was doing this because I thought it would make her happy, because of, the little dust up we had a couple months earlier where I was told, you can't do that, you can't be that. And I was receiving a really mixed message here. And so I remember I was at my friend's house, and his parents were there, and they brought up the talent show, and I said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to be in the talent show." "Well, what are you going to do?" And I explained, and they were like, "Oh." And his mom said, "Well, can you do a little of it for us?" And so I did, and I just don't remember any reaction at all. And except, of course, "Oh, that's good," whatever. But I'm sure they were horrified. I mean, I don't know what my mother was thinking. This was also during the time when she was dealing with a lot of mental illness, and I just wanted to please her and to do what I thought was going to be funny. And I have very little memory of the show itself, but I did this in front of the entire school and all of the teachers and any parents that wanted to come. And I really don't have a memory of how it went. I remember being on the stage and doing it, but I couldn't tell you if anybody responded, if there was any kind of applause or laughter. I don't know. I think that's one of those memories I have buried so deeply. But I have the memory of doing it, and I have the memory of rehearsing and working my way up to it, and then doing it for my friends' parents in their living room. And I look at it now and I think, okay, so my mom, on some level, was okay with who I was as, a young gay kid. But her whole life was spent in telling me that it wasn't okay. But then she would do something like this and tell me, this is what I want you to do. And so I will tell my coming out story on another video. But this particular episode, it just occurred to me tonight when I was sitting with a list and thinking about topics for videos, and this popped into my head, and I thought, oh yeah, that one where she made me do drag. And so that's the story. And uh, it feels good to unburden myself and to share it. Has it ever happened to you? I don't know. I don't know. There you have it. The young experiences of a young gay kid in Ohio. Life, parents, drag. So I really hope that you will go out and do some random acts of kindness for some people. Be nice to people, be good to people. Show them that you care about them. Thank you for being here and listening to my insane story. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope there was some perverse pleasure in it. I don't know. But that's it for now, and I will see you on the next one. Until then, have yourself a beautiful day. Bye-bye.